Was the intention always to kind of have an origin story leading up to what ends up being the very first case in the Perry Mason lore?
Absolutely. Not so much the first case. The idea was to initially tell the story of Perry as an outsider taking on these larger systems. And we were figuring out how best to do that. And at the same time, recognizing we really didn't know much about his backstory. We only ever, be it in the books or other shows, met him as the lawyer. So our writers had this idea of, okay, you guys want him to be sort of an outsider. We want to learn more about what made him this great lawyer. Let's just not make him a lawyer yet. Let's just lead up to him kind of coming into that situation because he is so dogged in his pursuit of justice that he becomes almost by default the best person for this job. And then the kind of wink, wink at the end of it being that first case in that first book was by design, coming out of, our showrunners' minds.
For you, and everyone's allowed to have their own interpretations, but what does releasing the thread symbolize to you?
Wow, to me, it's sort of been this. I think it represents his internal journey. Actually, where we found him in the beginning. Disconnected, disenfranchised, paralyzed from whatever he came from, and that gave him purpose. And in my mind, I would say that this is, you see it in the last shot of the show, and he's letting it go, right? Mm-hmm. Some sort of acknowledgement goes off into the wind, and now he would move on. So it does. It's sort of just I thought it's emblematic of his journey.
I think intentionally symbolic of his evolution. It's an early piece of evidence that he gets. We see him try to pursue it in a way that he thought would be easy, and quickly learns that there's nothing that's going to be easy about this case. And yet he holds on to that symbol. And so by the end, there is something he's freeing. And quite honestly, you could take it a step further and outside of Perry and what it means to him, but he always wanted justice for Charlie Dodson. And there's a part of him that is freeing Charlie, I think, as well at that moment.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it truly is a talisman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Really quickly, because I'm running out of time. Do you see it, let's say in a far off future where nothing's shut down anymore? Do you see a future for season 2 with Sister Alice still involved?
What's always great is you build these characters in season 1, and we have incredible characters, whether it was, E.B., which is John Lithgow's character, or you have what Tatiana brought in and viewed in Sister Alice, or even what Veronica brought to Lupe. There are some of these characters where you come away and you go, we gotta find a way to get him into season 2. Once we dig deeper and if we have the opportunity, I think we're going to see what remains. Because there's going to be new arenas that we want to play with, and whether or not she ends up on this next leg of the journey, or maybe comes back even further down the road, I think it remains to be seen. We just have the same instinct and understand why you asked the question, because we're so in love and fascinated with her, even up to the very, very last, moments with her. So I get it, but having been part of things that were sequels and stuff, again, you always leave that first one because you're so in love and say, we're bringing this person back, and all for the right reasons, because they worked. But you really have to start of what's the story and journey of our 3 leads, and what are the themes we want to play with, and then that has to kind of dictate the worlds we go in and the other characters that end up populating it. So sort of a long way of saying we'll see.